What is up, world? Welcome to Apocaflix Now, the movie hangout show from us, Apocaflix Movies. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, and I am joined by the regulars today. And of course, like always, I hope Keith Barnes is joining us soon. I actually don't know if he is or not, but I hope he is. Of course, we have Jake Berlin in the house, Gio Ramos, and Brian Avalosino. And it's hard for me to be as enthusiastic and energized as I am normally during the opening of a show, because obviously what this show's about is Mr. Chadwick Boseman, it's not that the death of Chadwick Boseman, a movie star, is the most important thing in the world, but to us, it's a big deal, and to the movie world, it's a huge deal. So it is something we want to talk about, and he's someone that we want to celebrate. But we're gonna have our normal show. We're gonna do the movie watching challenge. We're gonna do our normal plugs, but that doesn't mean to take away from this discussion about Chadwick Boseman. So let's get into it. Let's get into the show. But how are you doing, guys?
Doing good. Hanging in there.
Yeah. I mean, with this news, that sucks, but what? Jake, sorry.
Gio, what you wearing over there? What is that?
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Repping.
Nice.
Repping.
Nice.
Hey, guess what? I have one of those on the way.
Ooh, there you go. So I just two things, nothing to do with Chadwick just yet. I wanted to say this, but we made, and most of you watching live may know Errol Owl, who is always in our chats, in our videos. She's officially our first official moderator here on the channel. She's going to be checking out and keeping things clean in the live chat as these videos happen and everything like that. So Rachel, do us well. No, I'm just kidding. You're doing a great job. So as she says, more wrenches in the chat. And then second of all, I haven't talked to you two yet, but I broke my hand, guys.
Hey. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Wow.
Why did you punch the wall?
So
you would think that. You would think
broke my hand at baseball. I took a foul ball off the hand.
Why did I think? Ooh. I thought that too, that you punched a wall or something. That's what was my first thought. I don't know why.
Why do you guys think I'm like this angry person? Brian called me Raphael of the Ninja Turtles yesterday. I'm saying I punched a wall today. Like, what the hell?
Hey, you would have a legitimate reason to punch a wall this year. Just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, no, not really, but I guess. Yeah, but anyway, I took a foul ball off the hand in baseball, so I have a broken hand.
Oh man. Interesting. So where were you? Were you playing? Were you?
I was catching, and I took a foul ball off the hand. Yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
yeah.
Well, get well soon. I'll send flowers.
No. No.
Him and I just literally had a joking conversation the other day about sending each other flowers, and he was like, "Don't you dare!"
Wait, Jake, you're right-handed, right?
Yeah, I'm doing all of this with.
I am sorry, bro.
I'm sorry. He'll be fine.
Yes, Rachel is kind of like, our virtual sixth member of the crew almost. She's so involved and always giving us ideas. So thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you to Star Drew and Brian also for stepping in, guys.
Oh yeah, and thank you to you regular viewers. If Anthony's out there watching, thank you too, man. You're awesome.
Anthony popped in earlier. I was in the stream earlier today when I first put the video up, and he actually put a comment in at like 2:30 this afternoon. But I think he might have deleted it. He was in here earlier. So
okay, I'm sure. Hopefully, we'll see him here soon in a little bit. But yeah. So if you like our stuff, you like our show, you can also listen to us on audio format. Gio, can you tell him more about that?
Thought you were about to take it. I was like,
no.
I thought so too.
Segue, man. Come on.
Yeah. So not only are we on YouTube, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, at least until 2020, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. We encourage you guys to interact with us, not just subscribe, but we do appreciate that. If you leave us a like or comment and interact with us, we do appreciate it. That gives us more exposure. Plus, we get to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything movie related. So please do check us out. And if you like our content, obviously give us a like and continue the conversation. Guys, this is so hard right now. Like, because I know we're about to talk about Chadwick and whatnot, and it's just like a black hole right here. It's just like my heart hurts, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely feel you. But yeah, like I said, you know, we're gonna try to go about our show the best way we can. So, like we normally do, is the movie watching challenge, and stuff has been crazy busy for all of us lately, and so we haven't had a chance to put a video up regarding our last challenge, which was Brian. He was challenged to Groundhog's Day, which was a Keith movie that was chosen by Keith. So we're just gonna do it here on Apocaflix now. So Brian, what are your thoughts on Groundhog's Day?
It was funny. I liked it. Bill Murray is literally, his character is me in real life. Like that character is literally just tell me I'm wrong, Jake.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but isn't he like a total asshole?
He's not an asshole. He's just like so pessimistic about everything. It just so
okay.
like,
If he's pessimistic, then that's Brian too.
The way he leaves to work every morning in the beginning.
He's literally just like
Brian's probably one of the most negative people I've ever met in my entire life.
Well, that's not very nice, but
that's what pessimistic means.
No, pessimistic is just like not negative, but yeah, so like that alone was making me laugh a lot, and it's so funny. I had no clue. She's saying the pessimistic, not the negative. I see. That's not nice, Jake.
Oh goodness!
Jerk.
Everyone's taking it too personal.
See, Rachel. I had no clue this was like a time travel-y type movie. Not time travel, but you know,
time
loop, anything like that. Not the slightest. I don't know what I thought this movie was about. I think I looked too far into Caddyshack because I thought he had like a grudge, a grudge against the groundhog or something. And like,
wait, so you thought this was Caddyshack?
No, I didn't think it was Caddyshack, but I think I assumed it was like in the vein of Caddyshack, where it was
because
like,
of Groundhog. Oh,
yes, where he hates the
groundhog. Yeah, the groundhog.
The groundhog. Yeah. And so like I thought it was something kind of like that. I had no clue. It was like I was so taken aback. I was so confused. I was like, oh, this is what the groundhog doesn't actually have like any part other than the name of the movie and the day. But yeah, no, it was pretty funny, not gonna lie. I definitely was cracking up a handful of times, and I just love his sour mood all the time. And then he does like everything that everyone would totally do if they were living in a time loop. And so that it was just, yeah, I loved it. It was really funny.
As far as your rankings, Brian,
does Zombieland count as it? Because honestly,
that's a Bill Murray movie. Yeah. Ghostbusters,
Aloha,
Caddyshack.
You want me to be honest? I think this might have been my first Bill Murray movie.
Oh my god!
Way. I mean, other than Zombieland.
Other than Zombieland. I'm trying to think of another one.
Look, we got to be used to this by now.
Space Jam.
Lost in Translation. Space Jam?
No. Oh, Space Jam. Oh, yeah. Okay. I've for sure seen Space Jam. Okay.
Ghostbusters.
I forgot about that. No, I've never seen Ghostbusters.
Oh my god. I think it's officially time it becomes the Brian movie watching challenge. Like
I'm literally
he's caught up.
I'm literally going through his list right now, and the only thing I am seeing Zombieland, this, and he was Bosley in Charlie's Angels. I saw that.
What about Bob?
No, I don't know what that is. Space Jam. No, I haven't seen Scrooge.
Oh goodness!
Garfield.
No.
Osmosis Jones.
Wow.
Nope.
Osmosis Jones is so good.
Brian, here's something I always wonder. This is why, like, when Jake challenged me to watch Die Hard, I said I get it in a complimentary way because I get why it's such a classic. Do you get why this movie's a classic?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
I feel like that's a win when you challenge someone to a classic film. I feel like that's a win.
yeah. Oh no, I absolutely. Yeah, I love that literally everyone's naming all these movies, and I'm just like, nope. Not even Garfield, Star Drew, not even Garfield. So I would say Space Jam, this, and I already forgot the other one. Oh, Zombieland. Yeah, that would probably be. So I would go Space Jam, this, and then whatever I already forgot the last one. Again.
No, I think Space Jam might be my favorite one too.
Zombieland.
You thought you forgot Zombieland like 6 different times.
Well,
God.
If not anything, at least we got an entertaining review out of Brian.
Yes,
at least,
seriously.
At least. And look, I'm not gonna forget the second part of the movie watching challenge this time because I was challenged. And look,
by me.
So what we're doing now is we are still the same way. The last person who was challenged challenges the next person, and then the rest of us submit a film. But now we're letting you guys choose which film we watch. I checked the poll like 3 days ago, and there were 3 movies tied, and the other one wasn't. I haven't checked it since, so I have no idea what it's going to be. But I was challenged, so the viewers got to decide, and I'm excited to hear what it is. But that was crazy that 3 of them were tied, and there were 60 votes at that time.
I was watching this, and it was very close.
But also
the whole entire time.
The other social media votes as well, right? So,
yeah, but there weren't a lot for this one.
Is that just for the
no? That's for this as well. I do it for both. Okay. Any poll that we put up, I do it for both. There weren't a whole lot for this one specifically, so they didn't really affect it. It was interesting because when I first put the poll up, like almost instantly within the next 24 hours, we had somewhere around like 30 plus votes, and it was heavily in one movie's favor. And then 3 days later, it completely flipped on its head, and a movie that was in third now won the poll. Wow. So it's not a movie that people were probably expecting to win, but winning with, and we had 73 votes. So thank you to everyone for voting.
That's a lot of votes
on YouTube. That's a lot for us. It's a lot. Everyone checking their feeds on YouTube and everything. But winning with 36% of the votes is the sci-fi classic 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Shoot! I'm actually happy about that. I'm happy about this. This is one
2001:
of those movies,
A Space Odyssey.
This is one of those movies where like I gotta watch this sometime. This is one of those.
It's a Stanley Kubrick classic.
Yeah. Have you guys seen it?
I think I seen it a very long time ago, but not enough to I remember it.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Bummer. So by the way, great choices, guys. All 4 movies.
And this is my movie, by the way.
Oh, okay. You know what? I was actually gonna guess it was Keith's. I was gonna guess it was Keith's, but
I've been challenging you to this for the last like 4 times.
Yeah, but the movie that wins, obviously, we have to know who it was because we got to do the review with them.
You want to take any guesses on who the rest of them are?
Can you bring it? What were the other 3 movies
So
again?
The other ones were Love, Simon, No Country for Old Men, and Public Enemies.
Okay, so Love, Simon was Brian. No Country for Old Men was Gio, and Public Enemies was Keith.
Interesting.
But maybe tell me later. Or maybe don't because I'm not supposed to know,
we'll do it on Friday when we review. We'll drop you out like we did Brian last time.
Okay, yeah, because of course the viewers get to guess too, and then they can find out who wins. And they're gonna start prop bets on the side, like.
Kevin, we have not seen Tenet. No theaters in our area are open, and so it is not here yet because we're not a big enough market.
So El Dorado Hills is playing it this week. Just saying, not that we want to go or not if it's safe to go, but El Dorado Hills is playing it Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. in IMAX. I'm very tempted to go, but I'm still not sure.
I might do. We have New Mutants at the drive-in, and I might do that.
I was thinking about going to watch New Mutants at the drive-in.
Brian, I think I talked Gabby into that one too.
Yeah, that was. I wish, even though I want to see Tenet in the theaters, I wish it was in the drive-ins, but I guess Christopher Nolan won't allow that unless it's playing in like this.
Unless it's in enough theaters at the same time.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey. That there's about like 10 to 15 movies like that I know are all-time classics that I'm like I have to watch that soon. Like just
It's
because
my favorite Kubrick film.
it needs to be on my radar. I'm not going to say what my favorite Kubrick film is, but hopefully this takes the cake for that because I've heard this is amazing. And Jake, would you say have you watched it recently?
It was a few years ago.
Yeah, so I heard that it doesn't hold up necessarily, but I don't know. Would you think so or no?
It depends on who you are.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I think it's a great
okay.
movie.
So for me, I think it will hold up for me then because whenever I watch a film, I think about when did this come out and how would I perceive this if I was living in that time? So I think I'll enjoy it. And I heard it's a mind twister, so I'm excited.
Let me real quick before we get to our plug. I just want to touch on a few comments. Anthony, I know you have a comment about Black Panther and everything. That's probably not something we'll touch on. If we do, it'll be very, very, very later on in the show. So just hold your horses on that one, man. And then there are a few comments here. I know Johnny put something in here about Chadwick and a few earlier, and I'll get to those when we get to that conversation. So just hold tight on those guys.
Yeah, for sure. And like Jake said, we're here to celebrate Chadwick. And if you have questions about MCU going forward questions, we could talk about that stuff later, but like it's not about that right now necessarily, for sure. But before we get to that discussion, Brian, do you want to tell them where they can get that awesome shirt that Jake's wearing, or that awesome shirt that Gio's wearing, or the shirt that I'm wearing?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say the awesome shirt that you're wearing, and he's not wearing one.
No. I don't
I know, right? I don't even know what shirt that is. A Giants shirt? Nice.
No, it's not
a shark. It's a terrible shark shirt.
Oh, please. You're a Blackhawks fan. Yeah, TeePublic. That's where you can find all of our stuff. I'm too scared to do this now because God forbid I go on it and reveal someone else's new logo. So yeah, it's TeePublic. Go to search Apocaflix movies and you will see all these fun things, whether they be shows that we do, other people's shows, or things like Disturbing in a Good Way that I came up with and is mine. So yeah, check it out. There's other stuff too, like coffee mugs and notebooks and fun stuff like that.
Our motto
and masks.
Job. There
that
you go.
That is very true. Yes, in this time, that is a great. I still haven't got a mask yet, but I've went to buy some before, but I don't know what the quality of the masks are. And Brian, people like you are the reason why I want to become a lawyer, because there's a thing called proof where you can go back and watch a video where we both came up with it together. Literally.
It was mine.
Am I going to have to say this every time? That is awesome.
Nice.
How does it fit, Jake? How does it feel?
If I can get it around my ear. With my
Is it comfortable?
Yeah.
It's a mask.
Awesome. Is that the bigger ones or the smaller ones?
This is the bigger one, and
nice.
I didn't actually get this. My grandmother bought this, and they were too big for her face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, look at the coverage that it gets, man.
No, that's cool. I was wondering whether to get the smaller or big ones. The big one looks pretty good.
Yeah, and it's not super thick, so they are actually breathable, unlike a lot of masks.
That's cool.
The real question is, does it fog up your glasses?
Of course, every mask.
I mean, all masks are gonna fog up your glasses.
I'm gonna get contacts just for that reason.
I've legitimately thought about that, but I've gotten a contact stuck up here.
Oh, never mind. I'm not getting contacts. Never mind. I'll deal with the foggy glasses. You just ruined. I'm very squeamish, Brian. You just
me
ruined
too.
it for me. And I'll save money. So, but let's move on to what we're here to talk about. And Jake, I'm gonna just let you take this and kind of tell everybody how the conversation is gonna go today.
Yeah, and I'll just run through it quickly. And I know everybody knows exactly what happened, but on Friday evening around 7:00 or so, 7:30, it was announced via his personal Twitter account that he had unfortunately passed due to colon cancer, something that the majority of people, the mass majority of people, had no idea he had. He was battling with it for 4 years, and we'll get into that conversation throughout the night. But we're just going to take the time to kind of cover some bases here for ourselves and discuss what it means to us and the impact he had on us personally, the impact he had on the people around him, not just in the film industry, but outside the film industry. We're going to talk about his movies, some of our favorite roles of his, our favorite movie of his, just kind of talk about the things that we loved from Chadwick. And, I'll be honest, guys, off the top, as I was kind of running through doing some research for myself, it was very hard to pick one. The guy has been brilliant. He had been brilliant since the day he stepped on, and he was brilliant until the day he left us. And it's a very crappy feeling because it was sudden. We didn't know about it. And in a year where things are really bad, we lost another great human being, that really did a lot for himself and the people around him and the community around him and stuff like that. And so it's going to be a very open conversation. It might get a little somber here and there just because of certain things that happened, obviously, but just stay with us. And if you guys have questions or if you want to ask us something specific, you are more than welcome to put it in the comments. And if it's just a comment on it in general, we'll definitely show that. And like I mentioned a little while ago, any questions about replacing him or Marvel or any of that, that's not really why we're here tonight. That'll be something that we get into at a later date. Maybe a week from now, a month from now, whatever it may be. But we're here, as the title says in the show, to celebrate Chadwick Boseman and what he brought to the table day in and day out for so long, in more than just playing a character on screen for us. So with that said, if anybody wants to start, I'll just leave it open. I'm not going to call anybody. If anybody kind of wants to just start the conversation, and I'll throw some comments as we go as well up on the screen. The floor is open, boys.
I'll go first. I probably would say I have the least, no shocker, least film background filmography with him, only being Black Panther and 21 Bridges. So I unfortunately have yet to even see some of his great performances, but all I needed to see was Black Panther to know that this guy was beyond anything I could ever want. Kevin, very sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, Rachel, kind of like Rachel said, it was a complete shock. I mean, Jake and I were sitting on the couch with if you watch our other podcast with Jill, and we were StreamYarding watching the Kevin Smith and Jericho match, and Jill announced it, and we were like, no way. And we went and checked, and it was all over. So yeah, it was a horrible, horrible, horrible feeling seeing that, knowing that this guy who has already done so much and still had so much more to give. Unfortunately, this happened to him this early, or this soon in his life. But yeah, no, I mean, this, like I said, I don't have that much knowledge. I can't speak for his roles in other movies because I've yet to see them, but you don't cast people in roles like Thurgood Marshall, Black Panther, Jackie Robinson. Who else am I missing?
James Brown.
You don't just cast anyone when you're doing those types of movies. And the fact that he played all of those is incredible. Like, yeah, he played so many iconic Black roles in history of the United States and on. So it's incredible to think that this one man had such a filmography of playing these iconic human beings, fake and real. But like I said, my background of him in film is only 21 Bridges and Black Panther, but all I need is Black Panther to know that he was fantastic, because I will never forget going to the theater and seeing that movie. It's so funny because there are so many movies you would think that I remember seeing, going, oh yeah, I remember who I went with, blah 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 blah. I don't. I honestly couldn't tell you who I saw Iron Man with, or Captain America, or even honestly, I can't even tell you who I went and saw with to see the first Avengers movie. But this one I will never forget, just because seeing just the people going into this movie to watch him play this role and coming out beaming, crying, just how incredible his performance was. That alone, he could have probably just done that movie and been celebrated like this. But he's played all these roles. Oh yes, Kevin. That's actually, it's funny. The Five Bloods has been on my list to watch, and obviously that kind of just got jumped up. But yeah, he was an incredible force on and off the screen. He was an amazing human being off the screen. On the screen, he was just as good, if not one of the greats, I'll say, especially for Black cinema. So yeah, it sucks because who knows where he could have gone going forward. I mean, he was already at this pinnacle, and he could have just. I don't even know how to describe it. How much higher up he could have gone, but clearly the way he is an actor, he would have gone even higher. So yeah, it's really horrible, especially for me working at, not for me personally, but me working at a school where the school is predominantly African-American kids. It's heartbreaking to see one of their heroes no longer be around. And so, yeah, it's really tough, but I'm really glad we're going to be able to have his movies to look back on. And all of his movies are ones you can watch decades later, and it will just be as good and resonate as it does right now. So yeah, that's my piece.
Anybody else want to jump in?
Gio, go ahead, man.
So my brother and I were big football fans, and back in 2014, we went to go watch a little movie called Draft Day, starring Kevin Costner, and that was a big draw. It was Kevin Costner football, and we were like, okay, great. So we go to watch the movie, and I remember sitting in the theater watching the movie, and there is this actor who plays this football player that is, incredible, and he's very hopeful. He's a long shot that he can be the number 1 draft pick. Vontae Mack, absolutely. And the actor who played Vontae Mack was Chadwick Boseman. It was my first time seeing Chadwick Boseman on the big screen, and absolutely draft Vontae no matter what, or Vontae Mack no matter what. And every time he was on screen, he didn't have as much screen time as other actors, but every time he was on screen, he had that it factor that only a select number of actors have, especially up-and-coming actors. He had this charisma. He was just, anytime he was on screen, your eyes were locked in, and he played a character that was very likable and one that you rooted for. And so I was just like, wow, that guy was awesome. And I'm not playing around. At the time, I was like, man, he'd be a great Black Panther. And the year that Black Panther was announced, I believe it was 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. It was 2015. I'm sorry?
It was before the filming of Brian's right. It was before the filming of Civil War.
Oh, okay, so it was 14. Okay, actually that makes sense. Yeah. And when he was announced, like I think a lot of people's excitement for the Black Panther movie character, shot up through the roof. I think the saddest thing about this, and this is just another testament that life isn't fair, is that.
Oh, Gio, we lost you. You're muted.
It's your mic.
Can you hear me?
Go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I was getting to just as he was reaching his peak and finally broke out and was becoming a movie star, is when he got, diagnosed with colon cancer. And looking back, especially on certain interviews, the one in particular that's going viral on Soy's Universe, when he talks about, Black Panther and what it means for people who aren't as fortunate who are terminally ill. They hold on to those characters and for hope because they inspire them. Just seeing that, in retrospect, it makes it you're just floored. You just can't believe it. You're just like, wow, this guy was truly a superhero in every sense. He was truly a king to little boys and people of color and so on and so forth. And it's just, I think for me, that's just the saddest part, was that as he was reaching his peak, he unfortunately had to take on another fight. And boy, did he fight. He fought and did not let cancer get the best of him. I think back to Stuart Scott and what he said about, you beat cancer by how you live. And how Chadwick Boseman lived was superb. It was brave, courageous. He never took a day for granted, never took an opportunity for granted. And because he knew that these roles meant a lot, that they will live on past him, past us, past future generations. And it's a little bit of a silver lining to know that we have his work, his art, that we can revisit and celebrate. And he will no doubt inspire the next generation of young actors. And his portrayal as Black Panther certainly opened a lot of doors, as the actor for Shang-Chi, the upcoming Marvel Shang-Chi, has mentioned. So it's just, it's another reminder, again, that life isn't fair, that tomorrow isn't promised, or next month, or next year. And just, it's all about the life that you live. So, yeah, tough stuff.
Go ahead, Jacob.
So my first time seeing Chadwick Boseman in a movie was Captain America: Civil War. I mean, I can't lie about that. I knew about him though because I knew he played Jackie Robinson in 42. I knew he played James Brown in Get On Up. I saw Get On Up after all the MCU films that I saw him in. And I knew he was one of those guys that he was on the rise. And then he was announced as Black Panther. And just hearing about his talent level and everything like that, it was an exciting time because a lot of people, were excited about that casting. So I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. Let's see how it goes. And then, and honestly, Civil War might be my favorite performance of his. There's something, because in Civil War, the T'Challa character is hunting down somebody, and he has vengeance on his mind. And then I love when he has a change of heart at the end of the movie, and his character doesn't kill Zemo. And even though you kind of just hear his voice in that moment, and then you see what he does, you know, he stops Zemo from killing himself. It's all Chadwick Boseman there that reels you in that performance. And then of course he kills it in Black Panther. He's amazing in Infinity War and in the very short time we saw him in Endgame. But that is what I'll always know him as. But so like I said, I watched Get On Up after I've seen all the MCU movies, and if you guys haven't seen Get On Up, you have to watch that movie if you're a Chadwick Boseman fan. It's his best performance, to be honest. It is. And it's because for me, all I have to do to know an actor is a great actor is to see them play two characters, because I can see he plays T'Challa one way, and that's how I see Chadwick Boseman. When you see him play James Brown and Get On Up, it's like, whoa, that's a completely different person. Like, just no resemblance of the T'Challa character at all. And he embodies James Brown just perfectly in that movie. He's wild in that movie. Like, you know, T'Challa, the character, is very reserved and very just, you know, stands up straight and is very professional and, you know, addresses people. James Brown is just all over the place, wild in that movie. And when I watched that, I was like, wow, he really is a great actor. And I was looking at the 2014 Oscar nominations, and that's a controversial year. That was the Birdman year and the Theory of Everything year. But I always had a problem with with a couple of the nominations that year, and he easily could have been nominated that year for playing James Brown. Like, that's the talent this guy had. And Brian said he was taken away way too soon career-wise, and he was just getting to that A-list. Well, he's in that A-list level now, and he just got there. And he would have won an Oscar or two if he would have just
absolutely
if he would have kept on going. And you know, all we can do, like, we didn't know him personally. We didn't. It's not like he was my favorite actor, but I really respected him as an actor, and the only thing we can do is admire his work and admire him as a person. I heard stories that he didn't even tell anyone. Like, the general public didn't know, obviously. People, directors and producers, they barely knew any details, and he didn't want anybody to know because he wanted to just keep on acting, and he didn't want people to be distracted. And a lot of lesser people would want that attention, you know, of, oh, I'm sick, and they want that attention on them. And that's not what he wanted. He wanted to, you know, work hard, make a difference, and make an impact, not just in the movie world, but in society. And if that was his dream in life, he accomplished it. The Black Panther character, T'Challa, is so important, not just to film, but to culture and society. And we could get into that, you know, for hours, but it's very unfortunate because I was with Gio when I found out, and Gio's the one who told me, and I was shocked. For the next hour and a half, we were just silent. We didn't even, like, there were other people around us too, and they didn't get it. They didn't get why Gio and I were so just, like, kind of just shocked, and we were being quiet for the rest of the time. And I knew Gio understood, and Gio knew I understood how he was feeling too. And it's just a thing, like, if these actors don't affect you a certain way, if you're a casual movie, and not to say that it doesn't affect casual movie fans the same way, but, like, to us, it was such a huge impact because he was, we think about movies every day. We watch movies every day. He's somebody that's on our mind frequently. And I was just expecting, hey, I'm going to get to watch Chadwick Boseman for the next 30, 40 years. And that's not the case anymore. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I thought he was the best actor in the world or that he was my favorite actor in the world. But I will tell you that I respected him as an actor. He's amazing. And if you want to go watch some Chadwick Boseman movies, watch Get On Up. You will not be disappointed. From the first moment, the first 10 minutes of that movie, I was hooked, and he draws you in. So go check it out if you haven't.
Yeah, it's obviously a very hard subject to talk about. Brian and I were very much in the same situation when we found out too. And I think we had actually told you guys, we had put it in the chat and showed you guys because you guys were busy.
Mm-hmm.
And we were watching, a trivia match, and the trivia match, and I know Brian felt this more than I did, was essentially not ruined, but it put a damper on the match. Because it's hard. I was looking over his filmography, and since 42, which was really his like breakout, he was in a movie called The Kill Hole the year before. And my first time ever seeing him, and I didn't know it at the time because I didn't realize this was Chadwick Boseman, but was in the Express, the football film. But the real one was 42. But since 42, which was 2013, he's been in a movie every single year. We've seen him every single year for the last 7 years, outside of 2015. Outside of 2015. But we've seen him, 3 times or twice in 2014. 3 times in 2016, once in 2017, twice in 18, twice in 19, once in 2020 with the 5 Bloods earlier this year. He's but that's just the acting side of it. And there's a lot said about him with the act of continuing not just what he loved to do, but what was supporting his family while he was going through all of this stuff. And I know that Anthony put it in the chat earlier, we showed it. But the fact that the majority of people didn't know what was happening with him. He was literally doing the fight scenes in all of these MCU movies while going through cancer chemotherapy at the same time. Like, that says a lot about someone. It says a lot about someone. And so hearing that after the fact is like, wow. Like this guy, and we already knew what kind of person he was, in how much high regard, people like on the MCU sets had kept him, and how a lot of people wanted him to essentially be the central part of the universe going forward because of not just the character, but because of Chadwick. It was because of Chadwick, not because of the character. Chadwick made all of it work. So that as a person speaks very high volumes, and it's shocking. And I know Jacob had touched on it, but I don't think any of us going into the year were like, yeah, Chadwick Boseman's my favorite actor. Maybe he was up there, maybe top 5, possibly top 3 for some of us. Definitely a favorite whenever he showed up on screen, but he was easily on his way to becoming that household name. And a lot of that has to do with the way he works, how he holds himself. And clearly it was more than we ever knew. It was more than we ever knew. And it's a bummer because he clearly would have gotten a lot of support, but it also makes sense as to why he did it. And again, going back to Anthony's comment, he didn't really want people to feel sorry for him. He wanted to, and Jacob said it, he wanted to keep doing what he had been doing. He wanted to say the same for himself. He wanted to say the same for his family. He didn't want to quit on the people around him. And that is the highest value of just positive energy towards someone doing that. Like, I couldn't imagine going through my life and being told that I have not just colon cancer, but stage 3 colon cancer, which is essentially them telling you, we'll do chemo, but you have about a 99% chance that you're not going to make it out of this. And then it progressed into stage 4 as he was filming the last 2 Avengers movies. And that's literally the devil signing your name on a death warrant. It's terrible. And the fact that he continued to do what he did for 4 years, and mind you, these are the movies that he shot while this happened: Captain America: Civil War, Message from the King. I don't have a hand to count. Civil War, Message from the King, Marshall, Black Panther, Infinity War, Endgame, 21 Bridges, The Five Bloods, and a movie called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which finished. That's 9 movies while having cancer.
Not to mention the voiceover that he's going to have in What If.
You are correct. 9 movies while having colon cancer, stage 3. There is nobody like him. There is absolutely nobody like him. I know that for him, it must have been extremely hard to keep this a secret, because there's so many brilliant people who worked around him on all of these movies, not just the Marvel movies, but playing Thurgood Marshall in Marshall, the 21 Bridges movie where he was with a number of actors, The Five Bloods. I mean, Spike Lee and all those guys. I couldn't imagine going through life and keeping that a secret, but I know he did it for a reason, and I know that all those people probably feel some kind of regret towards that, but he left his mark, and he left his mark good. He left his mark good, and even though it was taken away way, way, way too short, we have an incredible list of stuff to look back on and be like, wow, this guy was one of the greats. This guy was not just one of the greats, but he was on his way to being an all-time great. And so it's definitely a very, very crappy situation, and obviously it's very somber because this is how the show is tonight, but it's a bummer. And like Brian said earlier, I'm happy that I can go back and, for example, and it's just crazy how the world works. And I know that it was playing all weekend, but on Saturday I had come back to the house and I turned the TV on without even clicking a channel, and Black Panther happened to be on. Like, it's just, that just stuff is just going to happen after things happen like this. And I watched 42 earlier today just to kind of get a feeling before the show. And so it's just, it's a very crappy situation. So, we give all the positive energy and condolences and everything to his family, obviously, because he did die next to his family. So, I think with all that said, though, gentlemen, we can kind of get in a little bit of a brighter side of this and kind of discuss maybe a favorite role or movie of his that we have yet to reveal. And I know there's a lot to choose from. And, Brian, I'll go back to you since you started. You haven't talked in a while. What is, when you think of Chadwick Boseman and say you had one thing to put on that was Chadwick Boseman, what would it be?
Well, like I said, I don't have very much to go off of other than, for right now, Black Panther and 21 Bridges. So for me, he will forever be T'Challa in Black Panther. And that movie just is incredible. I will never forget seeing it as long as I live. I will never forget sitting in the theater waiting for it to start, seeing the people walk out of it, and just the impact it had on the kids that I work with. I mean, he was the go-to cool character. Even his castmates too. Like, he made them better as well. So yeah, for me, it's without a doubt Black Panther. Like, I'll
Brian, can I ask you? Sorry to interrupt, but is the Black Panther movie your favorite performance of his in the MCU?
Yes, that movie is in my top. I can't think off. I'm literally blanking on top. I know it's at least in my top 7, and it always has been since the movie came out. I would say that movie is probably my favorite MCU movie. That is an origin story. Like the telling of an origin. That's easily my favorite one. But over Iron Man, over Captain America, over Hulk, Spider-Man, Well, Spider-Man kind of didn't really do it, but anyways, yeah, easily my favorite origin of probably any comic book character now that I'm thinking about it. And it's purely driven by him, like, and just how amazing his performance is. Not to mention, like, later hearing all these things that Ryan Coogler said about, like, he was the one helping give lines to certain parts and just having his creativity influence that movie. So yeah, it's yeah. For it will never not be Black Panther for me, even if I saw, and I mean that also. I mean, it also plays into my taste, right? A comic book.
Of course, yeah.
I'm probably gonna pick a comic book movie versus, I don't know, someone that likes music might pick Get On Up, or someone that likes baseball might pick 42, or someone whatever. Yeah. It will always be Black Panther, no matter what. Just he's perfect as that character. Perfect.
Chio?
Well, it's not the most interesting pick, but I have to agree with Brian. It's him as T'Challa, Black Panther, and specifically in Infinity War. They just, from the moment he's on screen, it's just like you're just so excited to see his character back. You know, even though his movie happened, I believe the same year, right? It was Black Panther in February 2018, and then Infinity War,
Correct.
in May. Yeah,
Correct.
and just he already like is in the role. Well, obviously because they shot Infinity War shortly after Black Panther, but man, like in a film that had an ensemble cast like Infinity War, obviously, like his introduction is the one I think of first when I think about Infinity War. One of his first lines to Bruce Banner is, "We don't do that here." When he gets tricked into bowing, and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like that would be Chadwick Boseman in real life if he were in fact the king of a nation. Like I feel like that could easily be him in the real world. And then later on when he's doing his war chant, and leading his army into yep, and
Yes.
he's
Infinity War. That I literally to this day will literally just turn on that scene of him. You're exactly right, Gio. Of him just going, just literally getting them. I get goosebumps.
When he's sprinting alongside Cap, and they're like ahead of the pack by like a quarter of a mile, and just running in the battle. And when he tells, oh God, what's her name? Who's the leader of the
Proxima Midnight?
No, Dora Milaje. What's
Okoye.
Okoye.
Yeah, when he's like, this is no place to die, and then he goes away, and it's just like, oh my God. But for me, yeah, it's Infinity War for me. And King T'Challa is my favorite role of his.
That line still gives me chills, so I ask you, with both Warrior and King, how long do you think you can keep your friends safe from me? That's Civil War. That's the ride up against Falcon and Cap. That's the one exactly I was thinking of. And Keith has joined us. I'm going to bring him in to give him an opportunity to speak here. How you doing, Mr. Barnes? What's going on over there, man?
How's it going, guys? I'm very, very sorry. Left work at
Glad you can make it, man.
Hey. No, don't apologize, bud. Don't apologize. So we kind of touched on just kind of gave our overall thoughts, little opening statements, I guess you can call them at the beginning, and then now we're kind of talking about like favorite role in movies. But if you have something to say, the floor is yours, man. If thoughts on the Chadwick passing.
Thank you. Yeah, I was watching on the way home. So you guys are wonderful. Great words, all of you. Honestly, it was really great. it's not a whole lot I can say that hasn't been said, but man, man, God, I don't even know where to start. My son actually texted me, sent me the little kind of a sad face emoji. I was on my way home from work, and I was like, oh no, okay, now what? And then he's sent me a screenshot of the headline, and I just was like, what? It was just like it just like everyone's doesn't seem right. Like you're just like, no, that's not right. Oh, and I'm just checking, I'm looking at everything. Nope, yeah. And Jake, or somebody, I think one of you just mentioned, you were talking about it in our group chat. I put it in there like, what? and then yeah, and we all reacted to it, but 43 years old as well. That's the first one I want to say is for all of us, anybody watching too as well. Get your colon, what do they call it? Colonoscopy, man. It's very important.
Yeah.
Get that done. Don't wait till they tell you to wait till you're 50. Don't do it now. Do it right now. Don't let any doctor tells you, no, you're too young. Don't worry about that. No, you're not. Okay. Man, it's 43 years old. There's no way this should have happened this soon. At that age, man. So get your colonoscopy and any other checkup you need to do. Get that done, man. Because this sucks, But also, it's life, right? I mean, every time someone passes away, I go back to my childhood and the very first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and where Splinter's like speaking to Shredder, and he says, "Death comes for us all," and that's grim, right? But it's true. It does. Like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to all of us, and and we grieve properly the way we're supposed to grieve. The most important thing about it, and the thing I kind of want to talk about tonight with the situation is legacy, right? We had this death, but I'm talking about what you leave behind, and as a dad, a father of 4, that's one of my greatest fears right now, especially as I'm getting older, is not being here for them. I spoke about this very same thing when Kobe Bryant passed away earlier this year. You just want to leave something behind for people to come after you. The stuff that Chadwick Boseman, you guys all talked about it. I'm not going to go fully into it, man, but just not just like him working and being in movies, but these people that he played. Certainly feel like he knew he may not have had much time, and he wanted to. Like the roles he played were so important and so impactful, and people that were also impactful and left legacy, like a James Brown. Who James Brown's a controversial guy, right? If you don't know his story, there's good and bad there, like with a lot of people. But Thurgood Marshall, of course, obviously, and of course Jackie Robinson. You can't. That we know about him. It's 42. Like this guy changed the world, and for him to take on that role at that age, such a young age as well, like that's monumental. And he really got into it. Like he really believed it. That he's him. Like he became all these people. Like he was fully James Brown, man. Like it's get on up if you haven't seen it. I don't know, Jake, if you're talking about it. It's really good. It's a really enjoyable film. But yeah, legacy, man. Him, this guy right here. You gotta leave. This is the kind of stuff you want to leave behind for people. Impactful stuff and stuff to really affect other people's lives in such a positive way. You watch any interview with him. I've watched a bunch of interviews this weekend with him, and he knew this stuff meant so much, not just to him, but to so many people. We also lost the Larry coach of Georgetown, John Thompson, passed away on Sunday, and for me, that's huge. I'm a Georgetown fan. I'm a Georgetown, growing up in Virginia at the time. For me, North Carolina and Georgetown are my 2 favorite college basketball teams. And John Thompson was another one, man. I would sit and listen to him forever, because I would encourage anybody, and just watch any interview with John Thompson, man. You watch Allen Iverson, his Hall of Fame speech. John Thompson saved my life, you know. And so the thing that really just the words that just cemented in my head all weekend, Chad Boseman and then into John Thompson now is just legacy, you know. Really want to think about and just try to impact people around you. You don't have to. Everybody's not gonna like necessarily change the world like a Stan Lee or a George Lucas or you know, Mr. Rogers or whatever, you know, Dr. Seuss or have that kind of impact. But you can have a real impact on your world, everyone around you. You know, I don't mean to be all preachy, but
you're good, man. You're good.
I just really, as sad as it is, and it's so sad, and you know, I'll worry about what they're gonna do with the character of Black Panther later. I'm not really worried about that right now, because there's a million things they can do. And knowing him, I kind of feel like he'd probably want the character to continue, so I wouldn't mind if they recast, but that doesn't matter right now. But yeah, I love what he left behind, man. You know, like I had a tough time. Maybe I'm a little more conditioned because I had such a tough time with Kobe Bryant's passing. Because I mean, I grew up with him, right? But not literally, but you know, just watched his entire adult life, you know, on the screen and stuff. But Chad Boseman wasn't, in relative terms, he wasn't with us that long as an actor. But he left behind, man. Just look at what he left behind. It's goodness gracious, and I love, and it's it's tough too. I'm sorry, I know I'm going on one quick thing. You know, we would see all those memes, right? Like you think back, there's so much stuff that really makes sense now, obviously, and maybe you guys mentioned it because I didn't catch the very beginning, but you know, there was all those about how you could see, he's tired of doing the Wakanda salute and stuff. Like he's, you know, like he was really enthusiastic about it before, and then each time goes by, and now you can see he looks sad when he's doing it. It's like, he was probably like exhausted, like literally exhausted from surgery and chemo, and like he was, you know, like he said he was happy to do it. Like he loved doing it. People would ask him, "Are you tired of doing it?" He'd say, "No, I'm not tired of it. If anybody does it to me, I'll do it." You know, he knew what it meant. And you know, it's a fictional character. But you know, it just meant so much. My son Kevin loves Black Panther. We were literally just talking a couple weeks ago, like, Dad, can we watch Black Panther again? Because we hadn't watched it in probably, I don't know, at least a year and a half, maybe before Endgame came out. Yeah, we should watch that. I haven't watched that in a while. And I just remember the look on his face in that scene in Endgame when he comes through that portal. And I had already seen the movie. We all saw it together. But when I took the kids to see it, and I look on Kevin's face when he comes walking through that portal, man, I mean, he just lit up. And I know that was the case with so many people. Man, it's just tough. It's tough. But, you know, like I said, legacy is great. Left behind, wonderful, wonderful legacy for us, for everyone, the whole world. You know? And so I'm just glad. I'm glad it was peaceful for him. And, you know, we've got the rest of time. He's never going to be forgotten. People will still be talking about him and T'Challa and Wakanda and Black Panther for the next 100 years, man. So thank you, Chad Boseman. Rest in peace.
Well said, man. Yeah, well said, man. I'll go quickly because I know we're cutting out on time, and you know, we said the important stuff. I just want to say it quickly, and the Black Panther character and role from him will always be there. Will always be at the top for me. You know what he did with the character of T'Challa through his arc of Civil War to Black Panther to the Avengers movies, of how he evolved from having directors like the Russo brothers and Ryan Coogler was sheer brilliance. It was really just incredible. And so just to play devil's advocate on picking a film, because it's a movie that I really do hold close to my heart, because he is my and I never saw him play, but he's my favorite baseball player of all time because of what he did. 42 really means a lot to me. It's a movie that I remember seeing in theaters and being extremely excited about, not knowing who Chadwick Boseman was. and seeing him embody this guy that, like he said, that changed the world, literally changed the world. We would not be where we would be today without Jackie Robinson. And for someone to take that role on, embody him, and truly make everyone believe that he is Jackie Robinson, is remarkable. And it's a movie that obviously for more reasons than just it being Jackie Robinson, the baseball factor is also really good, but just everything that it told, the way it told it, how it captured it, was just a movie that will always stay with me. And like I said earlier on the show, I watched it earlier today, just to kind of get ready for tonight and give me a little happy time while watching the film. And I would definitely always go back to it. But yeah, I can't argue with anybody who picks Black Panther. And I'll also throw out the movie Marshall, because I may be the only one out of us who have actually seen it. Him as Thurgood Marshall is incredible. I recommend everyone going to watch it. A fellow Black Panther actor in there, Sterling K. Brown, is also in there as well. It's a really, really good film. So those are my thoughts on favorites of his. Jacob, I know you stepped out. Thoughts on that quickly, man?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of revealed that when I was talking about it earlier. But I mean, look, my favorite character that he ever played is going to be T'Challa, and that's just like Ryan said. It's the taste of the person you're asking. Like, we're all big superhero comic book movie fans, but I really appreciate that. But like you said, just to kind of be, not just choose T'Challa again. And my favorite T'Challa performance is Civil War, because if Iron Man is an antagonist in that movie, then so is Black Panther. And
I see it.
You have T'Challa coming after you. You don't want that. And Chadwick Boseman played that so well. But also, like, I recently watched Get On Up, and I never seen a actor capture, like, just completely transform themselves. Like, there's a few who have, but this is one of those where, like, somebody completely just became someone else. It's crazy. That movie is so entertaining, and in the movie, he breaks the fourth wall a lot and looks at the camera, and like he'll be like, "Yeah, I got this." Like, just things like that. He doesn't literally say that, but he does things like that, and I'm like, "What is this?" Like, I didn't expect this from Chadwick Boseman. Like, it's so entertaining and charismatic, and it makes me think he could have done anything. He could have done comedy. He could have done anything, and I'm sad we don't get to see like the full, the full experience of that. But we never know when these things are going to happen. So I'm just glad we got what we got from him. And like I said earlier, he accomplished way more than most people ever get to accomplish in their lifetime. Him playing Black Panther changed cinema going forward. So
changed the world.
Yeah, it did. And look, it's not as important, but when you said the Jackie Robinson thing, it made me think of Chadwick playing Black Panther. Similarly,
first Black superhero, first like legit comic booky outside of Blade, but for everyone who everyone can see, the first Black superhero.
Yeah, so it's crazy, man. Like this whole situation is screwed, but it's like it doesn't seem real because it's too poetic. Like, how does this happen? Like, he plays this character which elevated
I got it.
African Americans in film and just changed things in cinema going forward. And in the height of modern racism in our society, he passes away. It's like, what? It's too crazy, and it happened. And I don't know if movie fans will ever be over it, and it's a sad thing. But he like Keith said, just like he may want the Black Panther character to continue, he wants us to continue and continue watching the MCU and continue watching movies. And so that's what we're gonna do.
Keith, to wrap up the show, man, the reins are yours for talking about favorite role or movie of his.
Well, totally agree. Get on up. Get on up is great. It's so good. I watched it when it came out. I haven't seen it since. I'd like to watch that again. I
On
can't believe
HBO
I haven't
Max.
seen Marshall because yeah, definitely. I might watch it tonight actually, but hey, I can't believe I haven't seen Marshall. I think it was on Netflix for a while, but where I'm from in Virginia, like Thurgood Marshall is a big deal. There's streets and neighborhoods named after him, and courthouses and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, he was from Maryland, but he was we're right there, so he was a big deal where I'm from. So I can't believe I haven't seen that. So I need to get on that. But I think the obvious one is, of course, Black Panther. But man, watching the Five Bloods earlier this year, and I'm still thinking about that movie, and he was really great in that. I remember wishing he was in it more, and part of it was probably the story, but also in these circumstances here, maybe he really couldn't do a whole lot more.
Storm and Norman.
But which I kind of wonder if Spike Lee knew. Storm and Norman, yeah, he was great, man. He was so good, so good. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. Outside of Black Panther, I would go with that as well. I thought, Jake, you mentioned The Express, and I was like, because I like that movie. It was really that's a really good movie as well for football movies. That totally forgot. So yeah, that's a really great one. But yeah, I'd probably go. And I've got 42. I'm one of those people that 42 is good. I think the performance in that is better itself. It's a good movie, and obviously it's an important story that everyone should know. I just remember being a little bit underwhelmed by it, but it's very, very good. But outside of Black Panther, I think Storm and Norman, and Bloods. I think that'd be the one to go with.
It's good calls. Before I hand it over to you, Jacob, I will say that I know that a week ago we had done a poll for our watch along on the Avengers. That might change. We're going to have a discussion as a group for Friday's watch along. So just stay tuned for that on our social media. But with that said, Jacob, the show's yours, man.
Yeah, and it's not that important, but like Jake said, we're sorry about the rescheduling and stuff. Like we had something planned, and then we had to change it, and we had to talk about this. But what's up, Gio?
Is it Thursday? The watch along is Thursday, right?
Yeah, and Jacob will announce that at the end of the show. Yes, sir. No, you're good.
Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah, no worries. But
you're good.
Like I was gonna say, like we try our best to keep a tight schedule. We want to stick to our times and our days. To be honest, I was moving, so I had to miss a couple shows. But
It's
I'm all
all
settled in, so we're good to go.
It's Jacob's world, and we're just living in it, guys.
Pretty much.
Hey, we were
100%.
moving, okay? We were
100%.
But also, we are thinking about doing the watch along on Thursday night this week, and that way to give us off the holiday weekend on Friday as well. So, and that's probably going to be the case. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It makes the most sense for everybody. But after that, we're going to get on schedule. That's the best for us is sticking to our schedule, and we hope that's the best for the viewers. So we do apologize about that. But yes, that's going to do it for this episode of Apocaflix Now. And we can't say it enough, man. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. He was taken away way too soon, and it's going to be tough. Like I think about it every day, and since then, it's tough to deal with. But yes, but for Jake Berlin, for Brian Alessino, Gio Ramos, Keith Barnes, and I'm your host Jacob Bartley. We will see you all later this week for the Avengers watch along. Take care until then.
Oh, there was someone behind me.